some people don't realize Metallica came from Los Angeles. They didn't come from San Francisco. They moved to San Francisco. But we used to hang out, and when Ron got basically kicked out of Metallica because they saw Cliff, and I like both guys, but I get it because Cliff was amazing. Luckily, I got to see him in the early days too. But when they got Ron out and got Cliff in, Ron was just sitting around L.A. just drinking, and I was drinking with him because I was still in Hyrax. But when I finally did leave for the brief period of time I did, I just talked Ron into jamming. I'm like, dude, we both just sit here drinking. Why don't we start jamming? So we did, and we brought in some other players, and Gene Hoglan had heard about it. And he's like, dude, if you're doing this, I want to play drums. And we're like, that's a red, let's go, because we love Gene. I mean, even back then, Gene was amazing. Like, he grew and he's gotten incredible, but he was fucking good already back then. And that was like 86. By 87, like early 87, we recorded the demo. And I'm still proud of that demo. I mean, but the thing is, like, whenever you have these like kind of super groups, it is kind of hard to keep them all together. I think after that, Gene went, maybe I don't even know if it was Dark Angel. I think he finally went and started playing with Chuck with Death somewhere around that time. And so to keep everything together, and it was just a different time. I ended up going back to Hyrax, but the Phantasm, for as brief as it was really awesome. And it was just basically me and Ron's band that we put together because we were sitting around drinking, and we got Gene to play drums on it. And it was great. Like it's one of those thrash metal demos that if you can get your hands on it, definitely seek it out. Very proud of it.
It's so legendary and underrated. Are you still cool with those guys?
Yeah, I mean, most of them, I mean, some guys dropped out. Like, that's what's crazy. When you've been doing this for over 4 decades, you'd be amazed how many musicians aren't around, not just because of death, but some guys just go on to other things in life. Some guys become realtors. I mean, I'm not dropping names, but that's really what has happened. Some guys have become realtors, some work in grocery stores, or they got a house, that they got to pay on. And if you're not making crazy money, which, when you're playing underground metal, you're not making Slayer money yet. You can't go on the road. So, but yeah, a lot of those guys I still either hear from or talk to here and there. And I think some of it's where they wish they could have kept going, but sometimes it just doesn't work out like that. But I still, for me, it's almost like everybody I played with, whether, we had disagreements or not, it's like almost all of them are my brothers. It's crazy. Like, it's almost like if you don't even talk to them again, it's almost like you had an argument with your brother, but hopefully one day maybe that gets resolved or not. But it's really a family thing. When you start playing in bands with people, it's crazy. As you get older, you start realizing that was a time in your life that you'll never get back, and that's some memories that you should be happy about because you had some times with those guys that can never be regained or recreated. Like, when you can't get 21 back, you can't get 25 back. It's like those were some really insane times. I'm lucky I lived through it. Like, partying with guys like Paul Baloff, it's amazing that I'm still alive.
Yeah. So what was your relation with Baloff? Because didn't he fill in for Hyrax for like a
Yeah,
second?
yeah. I love that guy. So this is going to be one of the coolest things you'll hear. Okay, so check this out. Some guys are competitive, and just some guys are cool. And Paul was cool. And there's no competitive with both of us because we also were very confident in what we do. Like, Paul is Paul, man. I love the guy. You're not going to hear me say one bad thing about him. Even the crazy shit he did, I loved. Not everybody's going to say that because some people were scared of him. Some people were offended by him, but I thought he was fucking awesome and nothing but good memories. So even when he was in Hyrax, he came in after I was gone. I was actually happy. I was like, I'd like to hear some demos, man. With Paul singing on it, be interesting. Like it's like apples and oranges. Like, he had a different style, and so do I. But nothing but mad love and respect for him. I'm actually bummed it didn't work out until I came back. Obviously I want my job back, but yeah, I nothing but praise for him. He was a very fun human. He also, another thing that people don't realize, he was also a really good guy though. If you knew him, he was a really good dude. Even funny, some people would be laughing to hear this. Last time I saw him, he hugged me, said he was happy for me, and he was a good dude. So no matter how much crazy stuff people are going to hear, and they're going to hear that too, because he was a bit of both, but also a really good dude.
I've heard the same thing as well from like other people who knew him, where he was just like, if you just talked to him and hung out with him, he was just such a cool dude, like such a great hang,
Yeah.
But at the same time, he did have this crazy side to him, which like he was just embodying thrash metal. And you did say you did see him do some crazy things. And this is not on the air. What is maybe the craziest thing you ever saw Paul Baloff do?
Well, the cool thing with me is when I talk about shit, to me, I'm an open book. Even if it was on Channel 7 News, I don't give a shit. I think you got to live with what you did. Not everything can be talked about, but this is a great one. First time I ever met Paul, we were playing together at a place called Ruthie's Inn, which is a legendary club from up in the Bay Area in Berkeley. Ruthie's Inn, it was Megadeth, Exodus, Hyrax, and the opening band that night was Legacy, which became Testament. And I was in the bathroom after sound check, and I came out of the stall, and there was Paul, and I hadn't met him in person yet. I knew about him because we were tape trading, and I had a bunch of live Exodus tapes, and I thought they were amazing. From the moment I heard them, I loved that band. Especially with him. It's not a diss to anybody that's played in the band, but Paul was a whole nother world. And so, anyways, I came out of the stall. He saw me and said, "Hey, do you want to do some lines?" And he ripped the mirror off the wall. He ripped the mirror off the wall, which is Ruthie's is the only place you could do that and get away with it. And he put it on the counter of the sink counter and put some crystal meth on there. And I said, "No, dude, I don't do." I go, "I just met him. I just met him." And I go, "Dude, I don't do that stuff, but hey, I appreciate you offering." And he goes, "You're lost," and he just did a line, and we were friends ever since. But I never did the speed that night. But I was way more into drinking. My thing was always alcohol and some weed. But Paul he was a wild one. But I think because I grew up with guys like him, he never seemed that bad to me. I just thought he was always fun and hilarious. But that was my first initial meeting, him wanting to do speed with me. I think he knew who I was. I knew who he was, but I think that was kind of his way of like, hey, you're a singer, I'm a singer, let's hang out and party. But I just didn't do crystal meth at the time. But what an awesome story. I mean, that's like the most cool way to meet a dude that you've heard about. And I knew he was a maniac, but right then and there, I thought to myself, all the shit's true.